Carlos Ramsey's with the Enhancing Mind. Take care of your environment. Your environment is the yin-yang to the self. If the environment is stronger than the self, if the environment is stronger than your convictions, stronger than your goals, stronger than your intent, then you will become the average sum of your environment. However, if the self is stronger than the environment, then eventually the environment will yield and mold around the enhanced self. There are a lot of components that make up your environment, a lot of different factors and variables that you deal with on a daily basis. But one of the most important environmental components, in my opinion, is people. People tend to be the best part, but also the toughest part about self mastery, especially if you happen to be surrounded by people that think that personal development is stupid or cheesy or cliche. And believe it or not, there are way too many people out here that think personal development is like the dumbest thing ever. An example that comes to mind is of one of my buddies who told me about a time when he wanted to take up running as a teenager. Now, my buddy isn't the fittest guy. He actually didn't get into working out until later in his life. And when we dove into why that was, he told me the story of when he was about 16. And at that time, his family didn't prioritize physical health. Uh, I guess one day he decided to go out and start jogging, but he quit after only a few nights because right from the get go, his family got involved. At first, it was just asking him why he was doing that, why he was going out running with this like face of disapproval. Then the sarcastic comments began, asking him who he was trying to get all skinny for. Then it went from teasing and heckling to what he tells me like anger, real anger towards him just for going out to jog at night. He describes it like this. He said it was almost like they were just so fed up with my dumb little phase. Right, that's how they were acting towards him, just really annoyed. And after experiencing all that resistance from his family, from his environment, he stopped. Right, his self wasn't strong enough yet to overcome the environment. He was defeated by his environment as a result, and it affected him long term because he struggled with his weight for years after that. But why did his environment, his family, right? People are a part of your environment. Why did his environment go on the offensive? Was any of it his fault? Of course not. What happened was his environment felt the ripples of a shift, and like white blood cells, they reacted offensively to that potential shift in their world. And let me tell you this, you're going to run into that a lot on your path to personal progression. People are going to take it like that, right? Like anything that you do to better yourself, they think you're just doing it to be better than people. So it's a defense mechanism for them. They see it as you're challenging their ego. You're challenging who they are, right? Bettering yourself is challenging who they are, and that's how a lot of people are going to see your self mastery. They're going to see it as a personal slight against them, as opposed to just a self improvement, that has to just do with you. And why is that? The reason for that is because the version of your weakest version is the version of you that they use to prop their own self esteem up. So when a certain version of you starts to change, well, the enhanced version of yourself is a version that might be better than them, and they can't have that because, like I said, you're tied to their self esteem. So the higher you go, the lower they feel. And this is to no fault of your own. Keep in mind, okay, you didn't do this, they did it to themselves. I need to make sure that I say that. Even though they lash out at you, it's their fault that they feel that way. It's not yours. Ergo, it's not your responsibility to make sure that they feel okay with what you're doing. You do you, let them do them. And who knows, you might be guilty of this yourself, right? So take a self-assessment, detach your self-esteem from the actions and states of others. You might be doing that too, where you're sticking your self-esteem on somebody else. Winners don't focus on the other contestants. They focus on winning. They focus on the path before them, and we're here to be winners. So be careful of the people that you surround yourself with. If they are your family and you can't get away from them, you can't drop certain people for whatever reason, all right, develop a thick skin and push forward with your goals. I mean, there's really no magic sauce here. You got to do what you got to do, and you got to learn how to stay consistent despite these hurtful or inconvenient variables in your life. And I guess it might be a blessing in disguise because it's a good way to start training yourself to work with what you have and not with what you want. But listen, I understand, especially at the beginning, self mastery can be lonely, especially when you kick things off and you kind of get this resistance from the most important people around you. But let me give you some reassurance: self mastery is only lonely at the beginning. Take comfort in the fact that you will not be alone forever. In your efforts, you will run into people that are in it to win it just like you are. And over time, your environment will reflect who you are becoming. But you need to be stronger than your environment right now. As I said in the beginning, if the self is stronger than the environment, then the environment will yield and mold around the self. And that's how that happens. It happens day by day, brick by brick. Next thing you know, a year and a half later, you stop and look around, and holy moly, your life is shifting. It's completely different. Try it out. Take an assessment. Look at the people and places you're surrounded by now, and then stay consistent in your path to personal progression, right? No matter what life throws at you. Then reassess your life in a year or two. How have the people in your life changed? How have the places that you frequent changed? Be mindful of the people you surround yourself with. And take it from me, I know from experience, all right? I know how hard it is to let go of a close relationship. Um, how hard it is to have to let that go because it doesn't serve your development. It doesn't serve the person you're trying to become. But I will tell you this: long run, it's the best form of self care. Take what people say and how people feel with a grain of salt. Let them say what they want while you do what you want. Let's see who ends up where in the end. Reshape your world through dismissing your world and focus on bringing out what's within. That's all I've got for you. Carlos Ramsey's with the Enhancing Mind. Talk to you soon.